Like, did you feel like, I mean, everyone saw in the news after New Year's with Dana White and the altercation he had with his wife, um, and then him sort of like promoting a slap league. Like a lot of people were sort of, throwing a lot of shade at him for a lot of what was going on there. Was there any concern from you, like when you saw that, thinking this could be over before it begins?
Oh, 100% I was concerned. I mean, we're in such a cancel culture that I was like, oh my, you know, but I had some interviews afterwards and some people talked to me about it. And I always told them, it if it would have been a punch, a push, anything other than a slap, like they wouldn't even have talked to us about it. And they wouldn't have been like, oh, he punched her. We gotta end the UFC because he punched her in the face. It's just it was all those people's scapegoat to further their agenda on getting rid of our league. It was nothing more than that.
And I think that that was kind of just more fuel for their fire, really.
Yep. Yep.
You know,
Yep.
It's like that. That's that situation of like, oh well, look, now he's slapping his wife. You know what I mean? Like it's absurd.
And even in that too, like Dana came out, he was 100% honest. His wife talked about it, he talked about it. And when people asked me about it, I was like, man, I go, it was the worst possible situation for a family and a married couple to be publicized. And,
Mm,
once they come out and talked about it, I mean, it should be left to them. And you should just care and ask if they need any help, if there's anything, you can do for them. But at that
mm,
point, it just becomes a family matter. And that's what bothers me about society is like, they're all about clicks. Like, oh, I got to get this click. I got to put this out there. It doesn't matter what happens to their life. And I mean, was there anything shown about like, hey, you know, if you need anything, let us know.
mm.
Nothing was like that. It's like, how can we end this guy?
You know what I feel like? I feel like the way he handled it was the best possible way anyone could handle it, just by coming and owning it and go, yeah, it fucking happened. It's
Yeah.
like it happened. I fucked up. I was drinking. My wife was drinking. We've been together for 20 plus years. Like, fuck. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I felt like you got a very honest response from him about it. And I feel like the way he handled himself as a gentleman. Uh, and even Dane and his wife coming out and addressing it as well, which I think she's never come out and publicly said anything to media
Never.
before. So, like,
Yeah.
obviously, this was something that they both felt strongly about to clear his name pretty quickly.
Yeah, and even when he's like, people were like, "Oh, what's going to be your repercussion? Like, what should you get for punishment?" He's like, being known as the guy that slapped his wife on national TV is punishment enough, and I have to deal with that for the rest of my life. But
Mm,
they never take like emotional into it. They're like, well, we got to destroy this guy. That's what always
yeah.
bothers me.
And as you said, that's the cancel culture that we live in as well. It's like, how do we get rid of them?
Yeah.
How do we
So, and
cancel them?
and in that too, like if you're going to cancel us, I mean, we got the NBA, football. I mean, football. I mean, there's murderers that played in that game.
100%. And it's like, it's just like I feel now with like especially cancel culture, whereas like if a certain group of people don't like something or they don't like something that's said, like you look at even the world of entertainment now. Like take I watched you seen the movie Tropic Thunder?
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Like I watched that like a week ago, right? I
What
couldn't
do you, what do
sleep.
you mean, you people?
Right? But like I watched Tropic Thunder the other week, right? And from everything I saw in that movie, I was like, you could not put this out there. Even you know what? Better yet, Entourage, right? So like we're around about the same age, so you
Oh
remember
yeah.
Entourage being the hottest thing
Yep.
on TV, right? How could you have an Ari Gold in 2023,
Not possible.
right? And
You
but
know.
that's the thing. It's like people are now taking away from the art of like entertainment, the art of comedy and stuff like that. Where it's like, Tropic Thunder, Entourage, those types of shows that can't be, you know what I mean? Like that are going to be very highly scrutinized because of the content that they put out. But like, let's look at what they are. They're satire comedy, right?
Yeah. I mean, Little Jack. I mean, you couldn't play Little Jack. I mean,
Uh, but even like Robert Downey Jr.'s character as well. Like it was just that sort of thing as well. Like that's the society that we're in now, where it's like it's so controlled, where it's like the people, like these artists of for
There's no such thing as
entertainment.
a joke anymore.
No,
It's not a joke. It's like you were serious. Like no, it was a joke.
but look, I mean,
How could you be a comedian now?
well, that's the thing. It's like, all right, look, jokes about rape and like, you know what I mean, kids.
Pedophilia and
Yeah,
yeah.
like, dude, I'm not really for that kind of humor, right? Like, it doesn't really. It's just more like, oh, and
Who
not a good.
who's who was that guy that did his like slogan was D to D? Who was that guy?
I
He
have
would act
no idea.
stupid and he'd go D to D. Well, he was making fun of handicapped kids. Well, he actually, I saw a thing on him once where he went and did like a thing for some like Special Olympics or something like that. And one of the handicapped kids, like, what, you're not going to say D to D? It's like, even
Oh
at
wow.
some point, comedy's comedy and you just need to get a laugh in and have fun. But now you can't do anything without them, oh my God, you were serious. Like Dana White was serious that he slapped his wife. No, it wasn't. He was mad and shit happened. So
But
cancel
it was
culture
so
is going to hurt us a lot.
but it was like, even like, to go back to that, it's like you see, like I saw the footage and it was like there's no time for him to think or process that. She slaps him, he's just going bang. You know what I mean? Like it's a
Yep.
reactive thing. Like, you know what I mean? Like I'd have to say, like, I don't think I could be in a situation that my wife would have me that upset where like I would feel like I would have to strike her back. But like, you know what I mean? Like it's like my wife doesn't drink that much alcohol either, and like, you know what I mean? Like we wouldn't really be in that situation to begin with. But I feel like I don't think there's enough that my wife could do to get that reaction from me if she tried.
Yeah, and that's great. I mean, I'll be honest, like there's been multiple times where I'm just like, I shouldn't say multiple, but there's been times in my life that's like, oh, I got to like hold back, and
Yeah,
it was just his trigger that day and it kind of sucked, but oh well.
100%, man. But like moving back on as we're talking, cancel culture and stuff. It's like I feel someone like Dana White can't really be canceled. You know what I mean? Like it's kind of like Vince McMahon in the WWE world. It's like they tried to cancel him, and it's like you can. I mean, you can't. Like at some point when like people have got that much money and that much notoriety, it's like yeah, you can try, but it's like they're still not gonna just like disappear.
And I could see it if like over time he was just like constantly that guy. Like you saw it
Yeah,
like every 6 months in the media, you know. It's like John Jones and just being an idiot for how many years?
yeah,
I mean, a mistake is a mistake, but when you keep doing it, that's not a mistake. You're just that guy.
yeah.
And he's never done that. So that's what makes me mad about cancel culture. They need to like start figuring out that like, oh, this person's really been a shithead for years, and just
Mm.
then we need to do something about it. But
But it's also like you look back, right? And it's like, to want to cancel someone who's like 22 or 23 years of age, right? Like you're 38, I'm 40, right? When we would like look back at time when you were in your early 20s, right? I can admit I was a fucking asshole. I was ignorant. I was arrogant. Was uneducated on a lot of things. I shot my mouth
100%.
off. I was offensive. I was disrespectful to people at times, like because I'm a young fucking idiot. And now at 40 years of age, like 18 years later, I can kind of go, all right, no worries. Well, you know what? I've learned about certain things in life. I've been educated about this and stuff like that. Whereas I think, while people are quick to cancel someone, why not try and educate some of these younger people and say, hey, listen, you can't turn around and say to someone X, Y, and Z. You can't turn around and, if you want to say these things, these are going to be the repercussions. Let's educate as opposed to just canceling and saying, you need to go away and just get out of here. Because at the end of the day, what's that going to do? It's going to increase people's suicide rate, if anything, because if they've
Yeah,
been doing something their whole life that they love and then they're told to fuck off out of it, what
yeah.
have they got left?
So I'm glad you brought that up. So years ago, I got in some some legal issues, you know, and I had to take anger management classes. I had to go to a therapist, and I tell people all the time, you know, that was the changing moment in my life. Is, you know, I literally got in trouble for something, had to go to court, and the best thing that judge could have done was not send me to jail and made me pay a fine. And I had to have like 15 therapy, I think it's 15 therapy sessions, had to go to group stuff. And I tell people all the time, the best thing you can do is honestly like find someone you can talk to, and that understands, you know, what's going on. And it can't be a friend, because a friend will be biased. Like, you have to talk to a
100%.
professional. And I think mental health on that side is like so neglected, you know, that it's saddening that. So I always tell people, you know, if they're having issues, like, you honestly should talk to a therapist and do something.